People scrolling late at night began noticing something unusual. Familiar names appearing side by side again. Papoose and Remy Ma. At first, it didn't feel like anything major. It wasn't an old clip resurfacing or a nostalgic throwback making the rounds. There was something different about it. It felt current, almost immediate, like something was unfolding in real time just beneath the surface, waiting to be fully revealed. Initially, the reaction was quiet. Most people didn't rush to conclusions or flood comment sections with strong opinions. Instead, there was a shared sense of curiosity, a subtle pause where people seemed to ask, "Wait, what's going on here?" That feeling lingered for a moment, but not for long. As more clips began circulating and conversations started picking up, that quiet curiosity slowly transformed into something louder, more intense, and impossible to ignore. Fans who had followed their journey over the years were the first to feel the shift. This wasn't just any two names being mentioned together. Their history carried weight. Their relationship had played out in the public eye, filled with moments of loyalty, struggle, growth, and deep emotional connection. So when they started appearing in the same conversation again, especially after everything that had happened, it didn't feel random. It felt intentional, or, at the very least, meaningful. It felt like something was building. And just as the conversation began gaining momentum, something happened that completely changed the tone. Claressa Shields spoke out. Her response wasn't long. It wasn't detailed or filled with explanations that cleared everything up. In fact, it was the opposite. It was brief, controlled, and layered in a way that made people stop and really listen. There was a weight to her tone that couldn't be ignored. The timing of her words felt precise, almost too precise to be a coincidence. And the way she chose her wording left just enough room for interpretation that the internet immediately did what it always does: analyze every single detail. Some people believe her message was direct, a subtle but clear reaction to whatever might be happening between Papoose and Remy Ma. Others saw it differently. To them, it felt more indirect, something that only made sense if you had already been paying close attention to the situation. But regardless of interpretation, one thing was undeniable. Her voice added a new layer of tension. What had started as quiet speculation suddenly escalated into a full-blown viral discussion. As the hours passed, people began connecting dots, almost like assembling pieces of a puzzle. The full picture still wasn't clear, but certain patterns seemed to emerge. The idea that Papoose and Remy Ma could be reconnecting carried emotional weight, especially for longtime fans. Their relationship had never just been background noise in the entertainment world. It was something people had invested in deeply. People had witnessed their highs and lows, their unwavering loyalty during difficult times, and the bond they seemed to share through it all. So the possibility of them finding their way back into the same space again didn't just feel like news. It felt personal. It stirred emotions, memories, and opinions that had been built over years. Now, with Claressa Shields entering the conversation at that exact moment, everything felt more complex. The timing alone raised questions that didn't have easy answers. Was it coincidence? Or was there something deeper happening behind the scenes that the public was only catching glimpses of? That's when the reactions truly exploded. Social media quickly became a battleground of opinions. Emotions ran high, and people didn't hold back. One side stood firmly with Claressa Shields, believing that her response, no matter how subtle, was valid and deserved respect. They argued that she had been pulled into a complicated situation and had every right to address it in her own way, without needing to explain every detail publicly. On the other side, supporters of Remy Ma and Papoose pushed back just as strongly. They questioned whether people were overanalyzing the situation. Were assumptions being made without real evidence? Was the internet turning something small into something much bigger than it actually was? And then there were those in the middle, the observers. People who weren't quick to take sides but were trying to understand what was real and what was speculation. But even that became difficult as the conversation grew louder and more layered. As more voices joined in, the past began resurfacing. Old interviews, clips, and statements were suddenly being revisited, but now through a completely different lens. Moments that once seemed simple were being re-examined for hidden meanings, as if they had always been leading to this exact point. People started building timelines, connecting events, and crafting narratives to explain what might be happening behind the scenes. Some of those connections felt logical, even convincing. Others seemed like a stretch. But in a viral moment like this, that line between fact and interpretation often becomes blurred. Before long, the story began to take on a life of its own. And then came the silence. It was heavy, noticeable, and impossible to ignore. Strangely, it made everything feel even louder. Without clear answers, speculation only intensified. Opinions, theories, and assumptions filled the space where clarity should have been. Neither Papoose nor Remy Ma stepped forward to confirm or deny anything. There were no official statements, no quick clarifications, just silence. And in that silence, the situation continued to evolve. In today's fast-moving digital world, silence rarely settles anything. Instead, it often fuels the conversation. People began analyzing every detail, trying to read between the lines and make sense of what wasn't being said. For some, the silence felt intentional, a strategic decision to avoid making things worse or drawing more attention to an already sensitive situation. For others, it raised even more questions. The absence of a response created uncertainty. It made people wonder if something deeper was happening behind closed doors. Were there private conversations taking place? Was there something unresolved that hadn't yet come to light? As time passed, the silence itself became part of the narrative. It wasn't just about what may or may not have happened anymore. It was also about what wasn't being said. That quiet pause carried its own weight, keeping people watching, questioning, and waiting. Because sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. In a world where people are used to instant updates and immediate reactions, silence stands out. It feels unusual, and that's exactly why it draws so much attention. Still, it's important to recognize that not everything needs to be addressed right away. Situations involving emotions and personal relationships aren't always meant for public consumption. Sometimes, stepping back is necessary. Sometimes silence isn't about avoidance. It's about processing, reflecting, or simply choosing the right moment to speak. But regardless of the intention behind it, the impact was undeniable. The silence shaped the conversation. It influenced public perception. It kept people engaged. Because when there are no clear answers, people naturally try to fill in the gaps themselves. And those interpretations don't always align with reality. As the story continued to unfold, it became clear that it had grown far beyond its starting point. What began as a few subtle moments had turned into a widespread conversation involving thousands of voices, each bringing their own perspective, assumptions, and emotional reactions. This wasn't just about one comment or one appearance anymore. It was about history, relationships, timing, and the way all of those elements collide under public scrutiny. When people feel connected to a story, they don't just watch from a distance. They engage. They analyze. They react. And in doing so, they keep the story alive long after the original moment has passed. Now, everything feels like it's hanging in the balance. The tension hasn't faded. The questions remain unanswered. And the curiosity continues to grow. People are still watching closely, waiting for clarity that may or may not come. Will Claressa Shields speak again and provide more insight? Will Papoose and Remy Ma address the situation directly? Or will this remain one of those moments that never fully gets explained, leaving the public to form its own conclusions? Because sometimes, the most powerful stories aren't the ones that give you all the answers. They're the ones that leave you thinking, questioning, and coming back for more. And right now, this feels like one of those stories, unfinished, evolving, and holding something back. The kind of moment that doesn't simply fade away, but lingers in the background, waiting for whatever comes next. What makes it even more compelling is the way the narrative continues to shift with every passing moment. Even the smallest update, a new post, a subtle reaction, or a brief comment, has the potential to reignite the entire conversation all over again. In a space where attention moves quickly, this story has managed to hold its ground, refusing to fade into the background like so many others. That persistence says a lot. It shows how deeply people are invested, not just in the individuals involved, but in what they represent. Loyalty, love, conflict, growth. These are themes that resonate far beyond a single situation. They're universal, and that's why people keep coming back, searching for answers, looking for meaning in every detail. Until something definitive is said, the story remains open-ended. And sometimes, that's what keeps it alive the longest, the possibility that the next moment could change everything. And as the conversation continues to evolve, one thing remains certain: attention hasn't faded. If anything, it has sharpened. People are no longer just reacting, they're anticipating. Watching closely for the next signal, the next shift, the next piece of clarity that could finally bring everything into focus. Until then, the story lingers in that uncertain space, balanced between speculation and truth, keeping everyone locked in, waiting for what